will come to you. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Right, before we go into the papers, a bit of a bombshell this morning, right?
Yes, Martin Amidu is in the news again, and this time around he's been reacting to, the appointment or the nomination, let me not say appointment, the nomination of Kisi Ejabing as special prosecutor. And in his latest episode, if I could call it so, Mr. Martin Amidu says, do not defame Martin Amidu in the propaganda to nominate a new special prosecutor by Martin ABK Amidu. He talks about the fact that, look, anybody who is deeply knowledgeable about the Ejapa royalty transaction corruption risk assessment report, which resulted in his eventual resignation as the first special prosecutor, knows that one of the beneficiaries of the Ejapa royalties transaction is Africa Legal Associates, whose contract to participate in the transaction was found to, be contrary to the Public Procurement Act and tainted by bid rigging. Now, it continues to say that until 20th March 2020, Ejapa Royalties Limited was incorporated as Asasi Royalties Limited on 5th November 2019 in Jersey, the United Kingdom. And anybody who cares to know knows that the alter ego of Africa Legal Associates is a cousin of the president who also established Asasi Radio, which began official transmission on 14th June. And what Martin Amido is saying is that, look, it must therefore be worrying to any patriotic Ghanaian not afraid of the culture of silence to see Asasi radios undertaking political propaganda between 25th and 26th April to prepare the minds of the Ghanaian and international public to accept the surrogate, and these are not my words, but they are words of Martin, the surrogate of the alter ego of the Asasi radio station and Africa Legal as the special prosecutor as mandated under Section 41 of the Special Prosecutor Act 2018, Act 959. And he says, in the attempt of persons implicated in the Japa Royalties Transaction Corruption Assessment Report to pressurize the president to appoint their surrogate as the special prosecutor to safeguard their interests, the online report resorted to direct fabrications, lies, and omissions against me, and this is Martin Amidu, in its narration of the reasons for my resignation. He continues to say that they see in the report that that's Martin Amidu's reasons for resignation were roundly criticized by civil society actors who maintained that the law offered him enough protection to stay in office and perform his duties without interference, and that there was no clear evidence of any executive interference that should have triggered his resignation. Martin Amidu continues that, well, Asasi Radio and its alter ego did not have the courage to put out one civil society actor who expressed the fabrication it was putting out to the public to aid the appointment of its new surrogate and preferred, and here he introduces the word, a Japa special prosecutor. Okay. Let me continue. Now, Martin Amidu says, as I reported online, a matter which never featured in my resignation for pure political propaganda to facilitate and enhance the status of its surrogate, a Japa special prosecutor, even before the president could indicate his acceptance of the nominee and forward a request to Parliament. What has the nomination of a special prosecutor by the Attorney General, which was awaiting the pleasure of the president, got to do with a reportage by Asasi that Martin Amidu, a veteran member of the opposition NDC, who rose to become vice presidential candidate and Attorney General, fell out with Mills' administration over what he described as a matter of principle over alleged executive connivance in dubious multi-million-dollar debt? Didn't the president know these facts when he invited me and convinced me to accept to be the first special prosecutor? He continues, was the president expecting me to close my eyes to corruption in his government when he personally sought my acceptance and transmitted my nomination to Parliament? Did I, as a public officer, continue to be a member of the National Democratic Congress upon my nomination and subsequent appointment as special prosecutor? Was my supposed disaffection with the NDC the reason for the president referring the alleged Airbus bribery case to me for investigation? These are questions that Martin Amidu is asking. And he continues by saying that Asasi Radio appears to have been so bent on pressurizing the president to announce their preferred choice as the special prosecutor, and he quotes, the Ejapa special prosecutor, that he forgot that the nomination letter by the president, by the Attorney General, beg your pardon, was addressed only to the president, how then did the nomination letter of a new special prosecutor come into the public domain to make rounds in the press? And he says that Asase should have also told Ghanaian and the international public that its surrogate and nominee special prosecutor in the published letter is a personal friend and classmate of the Attorney General and the owner of Asase Radio, all of whom attended the University of Ghana's Faculty of Law and the Ghana Law School. He continues, the independence of the special prosecutor from the direction or control of any person or authority in the performance of his functions are the operative statutory words for the nomination of an impartial special prosecutor, and not a word with an ism. I don't know what Martin really means by that, but he also continues and says, consequently, the announcement of my nomination as the first special prosecutor was made by the President on 11th January 2018 at a press conference at the Jubilee House, and followed up with a request to Parliament to consider my nomination for approval. And the Attorney General at the time never arrogated to herself the authority to force the hands of the President to accept my nomination by making her nomination public before the President had the opportunity to make same public. The Attorney General at the time followed the dictates of the ministerial and cabinet responsibility in allowing the cabinet and President to consider my nomination before it was made public. And those of us who had ears inside the cabinet knew the debate that went on before the President concluded the cabinet debate in accepting and announcing my nomination as special prosecutor. Mr. Martin Amidu continues, says that the nominator of the proposed new special prosecutor know and ought to have known the extent of the involvement of their surrogate as a lawyer for suspect in pending suspected corruption cases in which the government showed an undue interest in the office of the special prosecutor, which I await to see how independently and impartially those cases will be handled to conclusion should the President submit the name of the nominee to Parliament. He is approved and then appointed. I read Sir Sam Jonas' expose on impunity, corruption, and other isms militating against the fight against corruption in government and the economy before reading the series of propaganda and publications by Asase on its preferred and proposed new special prosecutor. He says, no impartial observer can disagree with Sir Sam Jonas' reflection except beneficiaries of the system who loot from the public purse. The fight against corruption in Ghana has been and is still in state capture. Mark my words. By all means, let anybody root for his or her preferred special prosecutor as an insurance against prosecution for corruption in government, but leave me out of the propaganda. I am honoring an undertaking by my silence in not commenting on public affairs. Stop tempting me to speak by defaming propaganda against me. It will not be in anyone's interest. Signed, Martin Alamisi Benz Kaiser Amidu, 29th April 2021, today.
This is when Martin Amidu says I'm not talking about public affairs because I'm actually honoring that particular dictate. But basically, he has told the whole world that do not put me in the middle of your conversation. Do not force me to say that the person you are appointing as your special prosecutor is the classmate of the Attorney General. And they were classmates both at the University of Ghana Faculty of Law, and they were classmates also there. He has relationship with the people behind Asase and also African Legal Associates. In fact, the principle of alter ego suggests that in company law, you can pierce the veil and get to a shareholder and say that you are responsible for the conduct of the company. This basically says that somebody is behind the Asase Radio, who is also connected to African Legal Associates, who Martin Amidu feels is also connected to the incoming, special prosecutor, in a way that he doesn't think will guarantee him the independence and the person ought to act in office.
He even goes further to connect African Legal Associates to White and Case, which is an organization that came up in his corruption risk assessment of Ejapa. In fact, Africa Legal itself came up in that risk assessment as well when it came to procurement issues. So he's drawing a web, and he spent quite some time doing that in spite of the fact that he says he's fulfilling an undertaking.
He has not come out yet. If he comes out fully, then we are in trouble.
Then we are in trouble. This is just shine as body.
Well, we'll come back to this.
Yes.
I want us to get into the papers.
Very well.
I have several questions. You
have questions?
During the Sahara deal, one journalist
But
said,
how does he know that it was
400 questions.
What makes him believe that it was leaked by the Attorney General's office?
No, he actually starts by saying that, it was as a propaganda by a radio station
Right.
to force Ghanaians or to pressurize the president
to accept the proposal
nomination.
of the.
But he then brings in the appointer or the
Yes.
nominator, if you will. What's the correct word? Nominator or nominal? Since we have nominee. Anyway, so we'll say it right another day.
Say the person who nominates.
The person who nominates.
Yes.
Yes. So he brings the person who nominates in, and suggests that the letter itself has made its way into the public in a way that did not happen when he was nominated by the previous Attorney General. So he draws that parallel, suggesting that he believes that the present Attorney General must have, leaked the letter, and I'm wondering why he thinks so.
Okay, so let me put that part in perspective. It says, Asase Radio appears to have been so bent on pressurizing the president to announce their preferred choice for special prosecutor, and into bracket the Ejapa special prosecutor, that it forgot that only the nomination letter by the Attorney General was addressed only to the president. How then did the nomination letter of a new special prosecutor come into the public domain to make the rounds in the press? So that's the question he's asking, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, to be fair to him, it could have been leaked by the
Anybody. I mean, it could have leaked out the presidency. So he's just asking these questions.
Or intercepted.
Yes.
I mean,
Critical interception.
Which is what happened in our case.
Yes,
As
okay,
far as
yes.
we intercepted it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, the Ghanaian Times for this morning, I was going to ask where you intercepted, but I knew the answer, so let me continue. Yes.
You can ask, I won't answer.
Anyway.
The Ghanaian Times for this morning says, at the presidential pitch series, $25 million boost for movie industry as government moves to create 6,000 jobs in the sector. And I'm sure the question you'll be asking is, well, if we really want to create impact, is $25 million the amount we want to spend?
To support the film industry.
To support the film
It's
industry.
been ailing. I just hope that they can do better films with that.
Well,
because-
I hope so too.
Yeah, I don't remember last time I watched a film titled or Looking Ghanaian.
I have
with respect, I'm not saying that it's a terrible industry. I'm just saying that most of the time, when I even read the plot of the film, it suggests to me that a lot of lazy thinking went into that production.
not a lot of lazy thinking. The barest minimum of lazy thinking.
But I actually watched one of the Kumawood movies, and I've been looking for the concluding parts of that. I was in a bus coming to Accra one day from Takrady. You know what they do those days. Now it says Obatan Ombudia. But I liked the plot of the story, that the suspense was such that, look, the person we all thought had committed the crime, you had watched to the third part and nothing had happened.
Right.
Some of these writers have very good stories and plots, but the development is the problem.
Yes.
So we can actually assess them. And still on the front page, it says
There's
government
something we
deploys-
need to talk about one of these days. Forgive me
I
for
agree.
cutting in, because I love movies, but I'm still struggling to love Ghanaian movies.
I
And
agree
it's a
with you.
pity. It's a pity. It's not only money that will make them better.
That's
have you
true.
watched have you been to the or you haven't been to the Sundance Film Festival? But if you see any of the selections of that film festival, they are all low budget movies. They cost coins to make, but are fantastic.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
just that the BNFT is reporting this morning that pandemic winners have to adapt to technology sustainability. That's the UMB boss. President unveils that 25 million initiatives also on the front page. And panelists urge businesses to collaborate to survive COVID-19 challenges. There's also the financial planning, which is required on the front page of BNFT2. Yeah.
And the Business Finance talks about a $25 million boost for film industry, and also the fact that we will audit toll booths. That's the minister in charge of roads and highways, Kwesi Amuakwata, saying that. He says that, look, it will soon audit all toll booths across the country to ascertain their conditions and relevance.
Now, the New Crusading Guide is reporting this morning that President declares war on Galamsey, and we're given a statement from the Minister of Information that some military men have been deployed to go and deal with the situation on the ground. As if the military men were not supposed to be there already. I thought we were in the what was the name of that team? The one that
Operation Vanguard?
we went there when they went to mount our platforms there. We went to launch it wonderfully and deploy the people. We are back to the same job anyway. That's on the front page of the New Crusading Guide.
Operation Desert Storm 2, Second World War.
Anyway.
All right, let's go for the BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still, the engine noise in my car wouldn't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goil Fuel. By the way, my name is Thomas, but I did try Goil Super XP Ron 95. Then,
Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3 multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station. Ajibebia.
now my car is renewed. Yankonkwa.
Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP, higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah, dear. Celebrate your mom with our low-price Mother's Day deal at ShopRite. We have a wide range of gifts and goodies you can choose from to make her day. Like a 400 grams Dreams chocolate assortment, only 34 cedis.